Here are my top 5 picks for wines that pair perfectly with pizza. Of course, when you think about pizza, we go straight towards Italy for our pairings. So to start off, I've picked a few white options or sparkling, which are really nice to pair with some of the kind of not traditional pizzas, so ones that have either olive oil or a white base. So to start, we have a Prosecco, which is one of my favorite styles of wine. Those bubbles pair perfectly with a little bit of that creamy white base sauce. So if you layer it with some nice roasted vegetables, some zucchini and peppers and onions with that nice creamy base, you'll want that bubbly texture to pair with that style of pizza. So here we have a Prosecco, which has very floral, pear, and apple notes. On the palate, that liveliness is going to match perfectly with the creaminess of the pizza. For another style of white wine to pair with pizza, I've turned to Pinot Grigio. This is exactly what we're expecting when it comes to a classic Italian white wine. And this is something that I would look more towards either an olive oil base with just a little bit of fresh herbs and some cheese, or even that richer kind of quattro formaggio layered in cheese. So what's nice about this Masienco Pinot Grigio is it does have a little bit of Verduzzo, another grape variety that has just been semi-dried slightly before fermentation. So that gives you some nice concentration and a little bit more weight than the typical very light Pinot Grigios. So because of that, just a little bit of that richness on the palate, it's going to help kind of balance out a little bit of that cheesiness if you are going for the quattro formaggio, or it does still work quite nice with that lighter olive oil base. So moving into some of the wines that pair really well with the more traditional tomato-based bases, we have some of our classic Italian reds. So starting with Tuscany, we have the Rocca della Macchie Sassir. So this is a blend of Sangiovese, our Tuscan red grape, blended with a little bit of Syrah. So here I would match something like a margherita pizza with this very classic Italian wine and a classic Italian pizza. The tomato base has that nice high acidity and pairs perfectly with the acidity in Sangiovese. So in this one, we get some of those red plums, a little bit of spice on the aromas. A nice medium-bodied red wine, fresh acidity, perfect match with any kind of pizza, margherita especially, but certainly the tomato-based pizzas would do really well with this wine. So if you're looking for something a little bit kind of more meaty style, those meat lovers, a prosciutto style, looking towards the Piedmont region, north of Tuscany, is where we find the Barbera grape variety. So Barbera is a very juicy, fruit-forward style, nice freshness on the palate. The saltiness in prosciutto pairs really well with that fruitiness of Barbera. So you could do a lot of those options there. This one I get, again, that plum and cherry, but it's really quite ripe, and it's more about that fruit compared to a little bit of the spicy oak maybe in the Sassir. Just having a sip of this makes me want a little bit of that salty pizza right away. So last but not least, moving towards the Veneto region is where we find some of those dried grape styles, the Opacimientos. Here we have a really rich and decadent style of wine, and sometimes they have just a little bit of sweetness. So that sweetness is key to pairing with some of our more spicier options of pizza. So imagine a spicy salami or that olive oil that's been soaked in the chili flakes, or even sprinkling some chili flakes on your pizza. When you have a little bit of that heat, you do want to look to something with a little bit of sweetness, which helps balance out the heat. So here you can see we got that dark color. There's almost a raisinated, very concentrated aroma. On the palate, this is our most full-bodied option and a really great match for that kind of meaty, spicy pizza option. So next time you get some takeout pizza, there's quite a few options for you here to explore all of the pairings.